most of you have come across this story that I'm about to say. It's about my cousin who died January 1st. He was coming from Kenya. He's a Zambian. He was coming from Kenya on vacation with a friend. So he's based in the US. So his connecting flight from Kenya to the USA was in Germany. So when he was there, according to the friend's explanation, so as they were transitioning from they were within the airport, so as he was going to board the USA flight to bring him to the US, what happened? He told the friend that I'm not feeling too well, and he felt dizzy. He had fallen. So the medical team came, got him, and they took him to a German hospital. So as they were talking to him, that he was even responding, "How are you feeling?" "I'm feeling like this," and he was just talking nicely. So now when the medical team rushed him to the German, so the friend remained behind and started looking for Uber for him to go where my cousin was taken, because they were friends. He couldn't leave the friend. Looking at this incident that happened, he could not just leave the friend like that. So he wanted to make sure that all is well. So as they took him to the hospital, rushed him, and the friend followed behind with Uber. So when he reached there, the friend was like, the medical team, they talked to him. The doctor said that we tried our best. Imagine, we tried our best. A person that they just left like few minutes like that. We tried our best, but your friend was not able to make it. And they gave him all his documents, the passport. So my cousin died in a land that is not his. He was coming from the land that is not his, died in the land that is not his. He was coming home, which is in the US. So and the friend was confused because this is a person that they were talking to, transitioning, were just heading to board the US flight. And this is what happened. So he had to make sure I got everything that was given by the doctor and brought them to the US to give it to my uncle, so that my uncle can continue with the procedure, what is needed. So it was decided either the guy should come to the US, because that's what I used to say, or he should go to Zambia because he's a Zambian. So now the final decision was like to go back home. That's why they will bury him. So with this incident that happened, it made me rethink, what is this life? What is this life if you are not in Christ? And this is what it is, that most of the time people are dying without fulfilling or reaching their destiny. Remember, my cousin died without reaching his destiny in terms of coming to the US, because that's why his wife is, the children are, but he did not reach their destiny. So sometimes many people are carrying destinies. Many people are carrying purpose that they are not bringing out there to be a blessing. A purpose is not just giving people money. A purpose is not just it's not about you. Yes, it is with you, but it's not about you. Any purpose that God gives you, yes, it will benefit you, but it has to touch lives. So there are a lot of people who are in that process. They know where they're coming from, where God has picked them. But along the way, you find that they die without fulfilling their purpose, without reaching their destiny. Like Apostle Paul said, I fought a good fight and I finished my race. How many people can look behind and say that if today it had to happen, you say that, oh God, I was in my purpose. I was accordance to what you have called me. You don't know your tomorrow. The only assurance that you have for tomorrow is in Christ Jesus. That's the only assurance you have. But if you live, even in that time, your assurance, as you are assured that in Christ Jesus, that's why there is an assurance. Do something that is productive with your life. Do something. You are not born on this earth to just come, transition, and go. Some people, before they even reach their destiny, they are gone. We need to reach a point that, God, what are you calling me for? Others, God can call you. One thing that you have to know, that any gift that God gives you, yes, it will bring you before great men. It will bring you before people. It will bring you before men that you did not expect, people that you did not expect, people with the caliber and timber. It will take you to places. But even if you take you to the places, how are God's people benefiting from that gift? Because the gift will not only benefit you, but it will also benefit other people. When God has called you to be a giver, Who are you giving? Are you selecting who to give? When God calls you to be this, to be a counselor, there are some people through the word of encouragement that you carry, you will save a life. There are some people through the word that you have, through embracing them, giving them, preaching the word to them. So many times we are seated and say, oh, I'm shy. I don't know if I can do it. Do you know what that shyness is causing a lot of people's life to die? Because if you had to speak and pour out life in them, they would survive. They'll say that word that you spoke to me, that laughter that you did, some of you undermine your gift. Even this same comment, you are busy making people laugh. Do you know how many people were carrying bitterness? Do you know how many people were sad? And God used the gift that He had put in you so that you can make somebody smile? Do you know how these things go? It may look simple. There are some things that I've learned, simple things, and they changed my mindset. They changed how I think. They changed how I did to people. They changed how I perceive things. Why? Because we should not undermine even something that looks simple. Because most of us, we are hiding ourselves thinking that the only time we fulfill purpose is when we are standing on the altar, is you are standing. When you give somebody food, do you know that maybe that person was planning of maybe to go and prostitute in order for them to have food, or they were planning to go and steal, or they are planning to say, okay, let me just eat and die. But at the end of the day, God uses you to be a blessing and touch, and that person begins to look at God in a different way and say that, God, if you can provide for me now, then it means you have my back. So what am I saying? Everything, any gift that you are doing to only benefit you, you are being selfish. Use those gifts to be a blessing. Compassion for people. Love people despite of their status. Every person, God has got their own journey. And if you are part of their journey, in order for them to fulfill, if God has placed you to be part of their journey, it can either through giving them food, it can either be through encouraging them or embracing them. Because it's not everyone that needs your money. Because sometimes we always think that, oh, people, they are desperate for money. It is not only money. I've seen people with money, but they kill themselves. I've seen people who have everything. Then you look at them, but why did they end their lives? So you have to be at the life where you look at yourself and say, am I being productive with my life? Am I being productive with what God has given me in my hands? How am I being a blessing to my life? If today becomes my last day on this earth, how am I going to look at God? Am I going to look at my God and say, I did my part, Father, and here I am? Or are you going to look at yourself? You look at all the possession that you had on earth. You're not going to be, God is not going to award you based on the houses that you bought. I am not saying you don't have to invest in those things. And God is not going to look at the cars that you bought, the name that you created. God is going to look at you as a servant. How did you serve Him in the vine that God called you? Did you serve Him to benefit yourself, or did you serve Him to benefit other people and to be a blessing to the lives of people? So I pray that don't transition out of this earth without fulfilling or being a blessing to others. What will remain behind is what you did for others. They may not recognize you, but you have put a mark in somebody's life that it was because of you. They may acknowledge it or they may not acknowledge it, but God, who sees your heart and your effort, will honor you. So God bless you. I pray that you live a purposeful life, a life that is acceptable and honorable before God. Okay? So God bless you.